Welcome to Hard Hats and Horizons, the podcast where we dig deep into the construction and economic development shaping the future of Dallas-Fort Worth. We bring you insights from industry leaders and visionaries who are driving growth in North Texas. From construction projects to industry trends and insights, we cover it all. So grab your hard hat and join us as we explore the people and projects shaping the skyline of DFW. Now, here is your host, Andrea Pender.
We have Kelly Smith on the show today, and she is the CEO of All Tech Electric.
Yes,
So thank you for coming on board with us today. So I feel like Kelly has a really interesting story, and I'm sure some of you have heard it, but you're going to hear it again today. But start us off and tell us what All Tech does.
Yes. So All Tech Electric is a commercial and industrial electrical contractor. We provide construction work related to the design, installation, and maintenance of electrical systems for commercial, industrial, medical, mission critical, and education, and some municipality entities.
Nice. So I have heard the story a little bit, but tell us about your company, about how it's family owned and how you moved into the CEO role.
Yes. So a little bit of an interesting story. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and I ended up getting a degree in electrical and computer engineering from the Ohio State. Had to throw in the B. And in the meantime, my dad had always had an electrical contracting company when I was growing up. He sold that company, worked as the president for 10 years, and then started All Tech in 2003. That was right when I graduated from college. But at that time, I had my own career. I started in electrical as a substation engineer, working for the power company, American Electric Power. And then my career kind of took me to computer engineering a little bit more so. So then made my way into corporate America, worked for some larger corporations. Long story short, I ended up in Dallas. My husband and I both had an opportunity to move to Dallas based on our network of people that we knew and people that were creating opportunities for us. And so we came to Dallas, and I'm an only child. So my parents followed me to Dallas.
Okay.
And my dad ended up opening a branch here.
Nice.
And so once he opened the branch, about a year later, I had an unexpected opportunity. His partner was leaving the business. We were in the same city for the first time in over 10 years. And I decided that he didn't really have a succession plan. And I had this opportunity to buy his partner out. Bought his partner out in 2015 and totally switched careers at that point. Even though I had a fundamental background in electrical and engineering, I was working in a different industry. So construction was new to me. Dallas was new to me. Family business, working with my dad was new to me.
And this was 2015.
That was 2015. Okay. So 11 years later, I'm still here. Love it. And it all worked out.
Nice. I feel like that's a thing that, you're hearing a lot of times, a guy started a company, loved it, and then they didn't think about well, what is the next step? And so with you guys, you kind of lucked out with, you know what, let's make this happen. What do you think would have happened if you weren't, Dad, I want to buy out the partner? What do you think would happen?
We talk about that sometimes. I mean, my dad did an amazing job of running the business. I don't really think that he was looking to grow it to the level that I've taken and grown it to. He probably just would have kept running it at a certain level until he was ready to retire. And then probably just shut it down. Or maybe he would have tried to find an external buyer at that point.
It's so interesting because I feel like there's so many, family-owned companies, and maybe the kids aren't interested, or maybe just one of them is interested. I think we have a lot of them in the construction industry, where there's a kid that grew up in the industry and loved it and just kind of took it over. But your story is a little different. So that's cool. That's cool too. What about, what do your daughters think about mom being CEO?
Yeah, I think they're interested, they're intrigued in it. They're still a little bit young. I mean, my oldest is just starting high school, but they've expressed interest at least in working for the business as they get a little bit older. I mean, at high school, they're just thinking about the money. I just need money. Mom, can I work for you? I don't know if they fully understand what we do and the magnitude of it, but over the next couple of years, I think they'll get some more exposure to it.
Yeah. Well, and they're
So
probably learning more. I mean, because my dad owned a company and you grew up with your dad owning a company, and there were probably things that you learned that you didn't even realize were, educational moments. And then looking back on it 20 years later, you're like that made a lot of sense and it stuck way back here and you filed it away for a reason. So I bet at that age, I bet that they're really paying attention and seeing a lot of stuff that you don't even realize, you know?
yeah, I hope so. It's try to explain to them, sometimes I miss sporting events and
Hmm.
sometimes I miss certain things, but there's pros and cons of being a business owner and
Right.
being a working mom. And somebody once told me that they were a better mom because they went to work every day. And
Right.
so I relate to that. Like I'm
Mhm.
very left brained and I am a better mom when I use that side of my brain. And so hopefully they see that and appreciate it
Yeah.
someday.
And how old are they again?
12 and almost 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, I'm sure they're paying attention to lots of things right now. And then just recently your husband came on board with you.
yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to have him on board. That was a huge family decision.
Uh-huh.
He comes from a very strong consulting background. And so he's, got the people process technology
Nice.
experience.
Mhm.
And I mean, there's nobody that you can trust more than family.
Right.
And so it's wonderful that we were in a position to be able to bring him on board.
Mhm.
And it's been 4 months and he's already adding tons of value and he's great at building relationships. And so he's excited to just get plugged into the construction industry
Yeah.
and help the family business.
Well, and you love this industry. I love this industry. I mean, I feel like for the most part, everybody is just awesome.
Yeah,
We work with just some good people.
I
So I
totally
think,
agree.
I think, you kind of hear about other industries and it's just not the same. I feel like we're a big giant organization of people here in DFW, but then you go to an event and you see 100 people that
Right.
and know fairly well from all the events and things that you go to. So, was he at the Texo event?
He was, and what's funny is, you say that, and I always thought that this industry is amazing. I think we
Mhm.
have one of the best industries. And then from an outsider looking in, he would come to a couple events with me over the
Uh-huh.
years, and he would validate that. He's like,
Nice.
"Man, there's some really good people in
Good
construction. I have a
people.
good time.
Hmm.
I can tell it's a great industry." And
Yeah.
so I've learned maybe I'm not biased and that
Yeah.
it's true. It's nice to hear from an
Right.
outsider looking.
Right.
So he's thrilled to be able to join it and
Nice.
get to know people more.
So I just mentioned Texo. So you just won a big award, the Impact Award. So tell us what the Impact Award is.
Yes. So the Impact Award is really shaping the vision and the future for the construction industry. So kind of my contributions to that, to those efforts.
Love it.
So yeah, it was such a huge honor, huge surprise, and it was great because you work really hard, and some days I'm like, man, do I work too much? Are my efforts getting noticed, appreciated? Am I spending my time in the right areas? Am I focused enough? And so when an award comes like that, it just helps you, okay, I think I am doing the right thing and I am making an impact. And
Right.
so it's very much
Yeah.
appreciated.
Yeah. That trophy, I put it on the scale. Weighs
Oh my gosh, I
9.6
know. And
pounds.
congratulations to you. Yes, Jackie Humphrey
Yeah.
Award is thing.
It's
And
one of those things, like you said, you see these people getting these awards every year, and it's just like, why? I think I'm doing
right.
all the right things. And then it's nice when other people notice it? So
Yeah.
I saw you at the event. You were right in front taking a picture, and then off you went. And so I didn't get to pull you aside. So, but yeah, I think that was a good event. So
Oh, yes. Congratulations to you too.
thanks. What other organizations are you involved in? Because I know you hold some high level positions on some other organizations and things.
So Texo, I serve on the board of directors.
Mhm.
IEC, which is Independent Electrical Contractors, I am serving as past president.
Okay.
APWC, which is Association of Professional Women in Construction,
Mhm.
I'm currently serving as president. And then I'm also on the Electrical Advisory Committee for Collin College,
Interesting.
the
Okay.
technical campus.
Do you guys do a lot of recruiting from there?
So we meet quarterly, or maybe we meet twice a year. just kind of to review the curriculum they have, any proposed changes. Yeah, look
Nice.
at what students are, what the student count is, and really just give advice. I just went in a couple weeks ago and talked to one of the electrical classes just about opportunities in the construction industry and some advice for
That's always good to have. I was on the advisory board at Purdue for the School of Communications, and I kept saying, this is when I worked at an engineering firm, and I kept saying, like, you've got to offer communications classes to these engineers. And I'm like, they can't have conversation. Like, they aren't doing a very, good job talking to the clients. And so we've got to push this somehow. I don't know what that looks like, but while I was on that committee, then they actually added a minor specifically for engineering students in communications.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so it wasn't just your regular old, communications class. It was specific for engineers. And so I didn't ever hear like the outcome of it, but I'm really curious on, did they promote it? Did mom and dad, promote, and encourage their son or daughter? Yes, you should get a minor in communications.
Right.
Because I just kept saying that would be a game changer. It would be a huge game changer if
right.
these engineers could come out and be able to have great conversations with people. I mean, really, that's anybody. We all need public speaking help and all that kind of stuff. So it's good that you're here and you're local and you can go talk to those classes.
Yeah, it's fun.
Did they ask you a bunch of questions afterwards, or?
They did. And my heart is filled after I leave. I go and sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm so busy. But I get there and I do it. And I'm so glad that I did it. And I walk away feeling very fulfilled because they asked me questions for a half an hour. I think I presented for a half an hour and they asked questions for a half an hour. And so it was really neat to see what kind of I learned from it, just what kind of questions they're coming up with and asking me from an external perspective. And so you walk away learning something new even from them.
The last time I was at Purdue, I spoke to a class. Shame on me, I did not ask how many kids were going to be in there. I thought it was going to be a class of 30 kids or maybe 50 kids. I bet there was 250 kids when I walked in that class, and I had like a whole business development presentation to show them, because it's like, it's not just sitting behind a computer and typing all day. You have to interact. And afterwards I asked, does anybody have any questions? And there was a little boy and his eyes were so big and he just mouthed to me, "I'm so scared." And I said, "Oh no." And like the whole rest of the class didn't hear. And I said, "Well, he just said that he's scared after everything." And then the professor was in the way back of the room and he's like, "I've been telling you, you have to, be able to talk to clients. And this lady, she's telling you everything I've been telling you." But sometimes it helps to have a real outsider come in. It's nice to kind of give back in that way. So good for you for doing that at Collin College.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. So in your intake form here, you mentioned creating opportunities, especially for women. Do you want to talk on that for a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the reasons why I've been successful in this industry is because people have given me opportunities just all the way throughout my career. And so I'm pretty passionate about advancing the industry and contributing any way I can and giving back and serving. And so part of that is, especially when I joined construction, there was a group of women just in general in the industry that kind of helped me navigate and pointed me in the right direction. And so I try to serve to do that. And so I've been part of APWC for a long time, probably since 2016, about when they got established. And then I try to also attend certain NAWIC events and Texos Women in Construction events, anywhere that I can join and participate and connect with ladies and just provide opportunities. And now we're hiring more women in the field.
Nice.
Trying to promote and advance women within our company as well. So yeah, just continuing to try to work on that and do more and more in those areas.
Yeah, I feel like we're at an interesting time. I feel like there's a lot of young women coming in from college, and there's a few younger girls that I know who are probably maybe mid to late 20s. And I've commented to a few of them, I can't wait to see where you're at in 10 years. And they're like, what do you mean? Like, am I not doing a good job now? And I'm like, no, 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 you are. But I can't wait to see you when you're 35 years old or 45 years old and you have that experience under your belt. So it's interesting. I can't wait. I wish we had a crystal ball. I wish, it would be awesome to see where we're at, but 10 years will be here before we know it. But I think that there's a lot more ladies joining the industry and then getting support from people like us because it's just like, no, they can do it. How can we keep pushing them?
I agree. And it's so fun to ask ladies how they got into the industry.
Yes.
I mean, what's great is more and more women are choosing construction
Uh,
to start, but the majority of people you meet don't choose it to start and kind
No.
of stumble into this
Yep.
industry.
Mhm.
And so the stories are very cool.
Yeah, that's what I think is really interesting. And it's so interesting because so many of them started at a front desk
Right.
and then now they're a vice president, and it's like,
Yeah.
how does this happen? Like, this is awesome. So, and I feel like you probably, those ladies that took you under your wing, like they're they're probably, some of your closest friends and the people you could count on the most. And when I first joined the industry, I had a lady help with so much. And she always she doesn't like it when I say this, but I'm like, you really helped me get to where I'm at. She's like, no, you had to work hard. You had to do, I'm like, but you laid a lot of really great, groundwork in order for me to make it
Yeah.
where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah, and just in general, I mean, I think it even goes beyond women. I always love what Melanie Rainey with Texo
Hmm.
says is finding your tribe.
Yeah.
That's
Hmm.
and just men who give you those opportunities and support
Absolutely.
you. And I have an amazing team, guys also that
Yeah.
have
Same.
supported me and then people in the industry that have mentored and given me opportunities.
Nice. Do you have, do you participate in any like formal mentor protege programs or anything?
Not formal, but, we were doing some things with APWC where it'll be a
Nice.
little bit more formal, I think.
Uh,
I kind of prefer the informal. I think
okay. Yeah.
sometimes when you put that kind of name around it, it
Uh-huh.
just gives it a little more pressure.
Yeah.
And sometimes those arrangements don't always work when they're
Right.
so formalized.
Right. Right. Right.
And I think mentorship comes in so many different forms.
Hmm.
And sometimes you don't even realize that you're being mentored when
Right.
it's just a conversation with somebody on catching up on how they've been doing and asking a few questions. And
Hmm.
before you know it, you're getting some advice that
Right.
to me is kind of mentorship
Right.
right there.
For sure. That you wouldn't have gotten if you didn't have that conversation and you didn't
Right.
know the person. And yeah, with ladies in CRE, I'm leading up a mentor protege program. So they've had it in the past, kind of sporadic, off and on. And so I'm like, let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
push it out. Let's do it again. And so I think we have, it's either 11 or 12 pairs. And so it officially starts in January. And so we'll get that rolled out. But some of the ladies that signed up, I didn't know them. And so then I had to, they filled out like a little application form, but then I kind of scoped out their LinkedIn and everything to make sure that it was the best pairing that I could come up with, which I was excited that it was people that I didn't know because I feel like I know so many people. I'm like,
Right.
okay, this is good. Like this is some new, fresh folks who want to mentor or be or be a protege. So I'm like, ooh, this is like 22 new people.
Well, I'm anxious to hear how that goes because I would love to do something a little more formal.
Yeah.
So it'd be great to.
Yeah,
see
and
if
I do like a kickoff meeting, and so I have like a whole PowerPoint that I've used for several years now, but just kind of giving examples on how they can meet. They can follow all the rules or they can come up with their own, but at least it's a good kind of starting point on this is how I would recommend, having your mentor protege meeting set up just so you both get something out of it. So another thing that you put on your intake was that challenges fuel you, whether it's solving complex problems, breaking industry barriers, or continuously improving how we serve our clients. So talk to us maybe, what challenge are you working through right now?
I mean, just growth of the business, right, is always a challenge. I
Hmm.
mean, I think you kind of grow, you hit a ceiling, you got to break through that
Hmm.
ceiling. And so I think every day brings new challenges in different ways,
Uh-huh.
but primarily just trying to retain our labor right
Yep.
now. and continue to hire the right people and put them in the right seats. I mean, that's our primary focus. And we implement EOS.
Oh, okay, okay. I
Yeah.
keep hearing more and more people who do EOS, and it's like, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. So, okay, how long have you guys been doing EOS for?
We've done it since 2019.
Okay, so it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been great for us. It's helped us kind of focus and get everybody aligned and moving in the same direction, and helped us create goals that we can track to on a quarterly, yearly, 3-year, 10-year kind of look ahead.
Nice, nice.
But yeah, I would say right now, just retaining our labor. Labor's always a problem. So the more that we can keep people and just continue to grow and add to the team strategically and slowly, that's our goal.
Well, and I think that's pretty much what everyone says when that question is asked. And there's so much work that's coming here, but we have to have people to build it, to make it happen. And so that's one of the things that we're really looking at also, because we have some big goals for 2026, and a lot of it is going to be based on labor.
Yeah.
How do we get these people? How do we keep them? All of that type of stuff. Yeah.
We just did a couple new things this year. We did families at the Christmas party. We haven't done that ever
Nice.
before. It was incredible just to see people with their families. Brought a whole new just side of people that you don't get to see every day at work. And so we really enjoyed doing that.
How many people do you guys have in your office?
So we have about 60 in the Texas office.
Okay.
And then I also have an office in Cleveland too.
Okay.
With another 16, 17 people up there.
Okay. So do both offices have a Christmas party then?
They do. We do separate Christmas parties. They don't all come to Texas, unfortunately.
Yeah. But so did you keep it the same where it was families in both of them too?
We did not. We tried families in Texas
Yeah.
first. We may do that in Ohio too. We've got a really tight-knit group up in Ohio that we have a couple employees that are celebrating 20 years.
Nice.
And we do a cool thing where we give a $10,000 trip
Nice.
to an employee that celebrates 20 years with us. So we
That's
just had
exciting.
somebody, and he chose to go to Australia.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
so
cool.
with his family.
Nice.
So that's kind of things that we do to try to just incentivize and keep people. We want to hire people and retain them until they retire.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's easier to, and maybe easier is not the right word, but that's all I can think of right now. It's easier to keep those people than it is having a, rotating door. Was your Christmas party, since it was the whole family, was it a breakfast? Was it a lunch? Was it a dinner?
Yes. So we did a dinner.
Okay.
And we had Santa there. We had a caricature.
Oh, that's fun.
Baker. Yeah, just food and family and fun.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
I can remember at my husband's old company, his very first year there, we sat next to, a couple guys that he knew, and it was like him and his wife. And so like we had both heard each other's names a million times, but we had never met. And then the next year she was pregnant. And then the next year they had a tiny little baby. And then the next year, nothing. And the next year she was pregnant. And the next year she had a baby.
Fun.
So it was fun because you could literally like watch the families grow. And so that was nice because you don't always get to see, your employee spouses and families and things like that based on where we all live and everything. That's really nice that you did a whole family event.
I mean, so much of it is also showing appreciation for spouses and families because they do, behind the scenes, they go home, everybody goes home at night and talks to their spouse and partners about what's happening at work.
Right.
And, they deserve some credit and appreciation also.
Yeah. 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 There's a lot. I mean, with anything, not just our industry, but the spouses they do deserve a little bit of credit because they have to hear about it.
Yes.
Right, wrong, or indifferent, good or bad, they get to hear about it.
We also did one more thing on the flight. We also did a really cool thing with cowboy boots. We gave and it's a little bit hard to explain, but we gave all of our employees a free pair of boots. But there's a whole mission around those boots around mental health. And so it's, without getting into too many of the details, they're called boot check moments. And I'm really passionate. I visited this place called Jay's Place in Idaho. And I went through it myself, an experience where we get free boots and we do a boot check on mental wellness. And so I decided to bring it to Dallas. and bring it to my employees here, and just would love to continue to see the construction industry embrace this mission. I think it's very fitting for our industry to tie boots to maybe mental wellness and a mental just health check. And so I'm pretty passionate about the mission and hope to share it with a bunch more people as they get maybe a little more involved in the Dallas market.
So did they come in and do like a class or something?
They do. They do a whole story. It's like a 3-chapter type experience where, you know, it's in honor of Jay, who committed suicide in 2016. And so they kind of share Jay's story. And then we go and pick out free boots. And then chapter 3 is really, there's a meaning behind these boots. These aren't just any boots. And so we want you to kind of check yourself, check the people around you. And every day when you put on your boots, remember that that's what's most important. And so it's just a really neat way to.
How did you hear about this?
So I'm part of an electrical contractors forum group, and there's 9 through IEC, and it's a peer group of other electrical contractor owners. And one of them is in Idaho, and so their company is boot check certified, meaning all of their employees have gotten a free pair of boots and gone through Jay's place. So when I visited Idaho, I got to go through Jay's place, and it is an actual storefront there. But I was like, well, we can still do this. Even if we don't have the store, we can still do the message with the boots. And so we were able to bring the facilitators from Jay's place here to Dallas. And then we did our whole company. So we're now boot check certified.
That's cool.
And every employee has kind of gone through Jay's place, the experience.
I saw you post a little something and I was like, there's got to be more to this. So now I have the top secret information that won't be released for a little while.
So they're coming back in January, and hopefully they'll, this will become a little more widespread. And I'm trying to help them get the mission off
That's interesting and probably well needed. It's probably needed in every industry. It's needed in every aspect of life, period. Okay, so you mentioned that you mentioned relationships and how relationships help elevate our industry. So talk to us about that.
Yes. So I think, as I touched on before, I mean, even just not in our industry, just in general, relationships are so important. And as I kind of mentioned earlier, I think I got to Dallas through relationships, through, corporate America and managers at that time, executives who came to Dallas for other opportunities, and they bring the people that they know and trust and respect. And so that's how I got to Dallas in the first place, is all about who you know. And my dad has built the business on primarily just relationships and reputation. And so that continues to be a very strong fundamental for us. And, I learned very early on just to kind of reach out. And when I didn't know anybody in construction, where do I start? And I started with a peer group of women who then, as I mentioned, kind of pointed me in different directions, and just getting involved with all the construction organizations. You start to meet people and build relationships. And it's great. I think everybody should have a network. You never know when you need your network for different various reasons. And so we just continue to be authentic and get to know people and help where we can, and build relationships.
That's one of the big things that I coach to my team out here is you have to get to know people. You can't just send emails. You can, but that's not going to get you as far as picking up the phone, taking them to lunch, really getting to know them. I was really proud of one of my young guys. So I was coaching this on make sure we're taking care of our clients. And at our last BD meeting, he said, "Oh, I took the Sherwin-Williams guys to lunch." And I was like, that's so good. He was like, they're always making sure to take care of us. He goes, but I wanted to make sure that they knew I appreciated them. And so I was like, good for you, because nobody else in the room was going that direction. It's funny because we always think that there's like a hierarchy of who entertains who sometimes in these situations. But it's like, you have to be good to your vendors. And so I thought, good for you for recognizing that and just doing it. So there's a lot of relationships in this business. I don't know what you would do without them, know?
And in a world where AI is coming fast and furious, I think that human to human interaction is increasingly important. Can't go away, and it's needed, necessary.
It was interesting. Last weekend at the race that I mentioned, another Kelly ran past me, and I didn't tell you this, Kelly, but I said, "I'm proud of you." And there was a lady who she was like when she said that when after I ran by, because I don't feel like people say that anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's just part of it. Not that we're telling our clients that we're proud of each other, but it's those little things that for whatever reason they've kind of just gone by the wayside. I don't know why, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's those little things where if we can do those little extras with our clients and we mean it, then it's gonna be leaps and bounds, you know? Another thing you mentioned on here was golf. So you like to golf. Tell us all about golfing.
Yes, we are a golfing family.
Okay.
My husband golfs and both my girls golf.
Mhm.
And so it's just been a really good family activity,
Nice.
not just for family and for personal reasons, but for business to just to be able to get out there and connect with people and have fun and be decent at it, right?
Right.
Is helpful.
Mhm.
So we love it. It gives us time without technology, time to kind of focus on something different
Nice.
for a couple hours and enjoy nature and get outside.
Yeah. Yeah. It gets hot in Texas. Are you golfing when it's still 110 degrees out here?
We are kind of diehard like that.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
heat doesn't stop us.
Good for you.
I'd rather be hot any day than cold,
Yeah,
even though
yeah.
I'm from Ohio.
Uh-huh.
So
So I'm from Indiana, so I feel like we moved down here and we very quickly are like, okay, we're good. It's not cold.
yeah.
Like, I don't think I remember disliking it when I lived
Right.
there, but now it's like, no, we don't
Yeah.
need this cold stuff anymore.
Agree.
Oh, that's funny. One thing I want to know is what are you most passionate about in your job? And what are some of your future goals?
Okay. Well, most passionate about in my job is probably just continuing to grow the company and invest in our people and build relationships. I really like the organic way of growth where again our 10-year goals are kind of around the number of repeat and return customers and the number of projects that we do with those return customers. And so inherently that just creates opportunities for our people and to continue to invest in them, train them, develop them. I like to watch people succeed. That makes me feel like I've succeeded when we set the people up around us for success. So I'm passionate about that and just contributing to advancing the industry. I love just like learning about what's happening even legislatively. What's going on and how can we go speak to students and inspire more people to join our industry, inspire more women to join our industry. Those sort of things fill my heart and my bucket. And so I try to find more and more time to do that while also running the business.
Right. While also doing some other important things.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm passionate about this industry and the people in it and just continuing to authentically build relationships and our reputation and create opportunities.
So I know you took notes beforehand. So we're gonna do our quick fire round of questions. What is the last book that you read?
The last book I read was The Greatest Salesman in the World.
I have read it. It's a
Fable.
I have read it
around some
It's been a while. I need to add that to my list again. That could be. What made you pick that one up?
I was recommended that book by somebody I don't remember. I have a whole list of like whenever I hear a book name, I put it on my wish list and then kind of just go through my wish list and see what I'm in the mood to listen to or read next and pick one. And that had been in my list for a while. So
it's probably been 10 years since I've read that. So I'm like, I can remember bits and pieces of it. So interesting. Okay. What is your favorite quote?
Well, my favorite quote comes from that book.
Okay. Nice.
Yes, which is the failure will never overtake me if my determination to succeed is enough.
I like that. Say it again.
Failure will never overtake me if my determination to succeed is enough.
Oh, I like that.
And I feel like that resonates and is very true. And
that's a good one.
Failure is all your perspective on it too, right? You can turn failures into success. It's all how you view it. And
it made me think of like the Notre Dame since we were talking North's colleges, they're big. Isn't their phrase like failure is not an option?
I think so. Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, that's a good one. What is a skill you would like to learn?
Spanish.
Mm,
I'm on day 300 and I started at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
So I've almost done Duolingo for a full year.
Okay.
And I did take 5 years of Spanish
Okay.
in high school and then, middle school and high school. But if you don't use it, you lose it. And so I'm trying to refresh that. And I'd really like to be able to speak fluent Spanish.
Yeah.
I don't think Duolingo is doing it for me. I've got to spend a little more than 3 minutes a day.
Yeah, I did the whole 360, like as soon as I started here, I started the Duolingo and I did 365 days and I was like, I pretty much can still just say I'm taking a suitcase to the library, And so I looked into some immersive programs and then I got some feedback and it was like, you have to go to a place and it was like worksheets. And I was like, I don't need a worksheet. I just need to talk about things. They always do a nice thing for all the ladies here at Carco, and it's like a women's afternoon out. And so last year we like grabbed lunch and then we had pedicures, and it was basically Mother's Day weekend. And so I was the only one that didn't speak Spanish, but I started picking things up just in the hour that we were at lunch. But it was because they were all asking the same questions over and over. So I because they would say, what are you doing for Mother's Day this weekend? What are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I can start putting the words together in Spanish. And then I kind of knew what the answers were to be. So I think I would need that immersive.
I agree. Yeah, and I have at least 2 people in our office speak Spanish. And so I think what I really need to do is have them challenge me each
It's
day
scary,
and
though.
ask me
You have to let your everything down and be
Right.
vulnerable. And that's when it's scary.
I'm determined though.
Good for you. Good for you.
Might take me 5 years, but I'll get
But you'll get
Yeah.
back to it. What's your favorite city that you have visited?
Favorite city? I love Kiowa Island in
Okay.
South Carolina. It is just an amazing combination of beach and a little bit tropical with, big trees and lush green.
Nice.
There's golf, there's bike trails, and so it's close to Charleston.
Nice.
It's like a half hour from Charleston, so you can go into the city if you want. Yeah,
I've never even heard of it. I'll have to look it up.
Kiowa Island.
Nice. How'd you find it?
My parents went years ago. Friends of theirs
Okay.
went, and they recommended that we go, and so now
Nice.
we've gone several times.
That's
Maybe
good
it's a
stuff.
retirement goal at some point.
Okay.
I don't know.
Nice.
But
Nice.
yeah.
What's a favorite construction project you have been a part of?
I would have to say we've done 2 parks for the city of Dallas. So we did Carpenter Park, and then we also did the expansion of Clyde Warren Park.
Nice. Nice.
So I just love those types of projects because it's for the community and you get to drive by and see
Yep.
everybody enjoying those outdoor spaces.
Right.
And so I think they're unique in that they're not a building,
Right,
and
right.
they're not, and they're contributing to the community.
Yep.
And so those would be my favorite.
I think that's everyone's answer is it's a place that, the community can come and enjoy. So that didn't surprise me that it was something like that. That's cool. Is there anything else that I have forgotten to ask you that you were like, man, I really wanted to talk about?
I'm thinking, one of the things that I like to share kind of about my journey that maybe is different, and this might help women in the industry. When I first joined the construction industry, I probably was lacking confidence. I know I was, because in my journey as a woman in a male-dominated industry, ever since I went to school, when I went to engineering school, it was male-dominated, right? I'd always proven myself through my technical expertise, hard work, and then proving that I was a technical expert in that area kind of got me to where I was at that point. When I switched careers and came to the construction industry, I felt very behind because my dad had been an electrician, had worked in the field, and I was never going to have that level of technical expertise
Right.
that he had.
Right.
And so I think a couple things on that, right? Being a second generation business owner, there's a lot of pressure. And my dad did something right. Maybe I should do what he's doing. He's been successful. He's done something right. How do I fill his shoes? And then also just how do I prove my worth as a woman in the industry? And so I really struggled with that when I first joined. And I think I joined a peer group of women called EWF, and they were all different industries. And I would present each month. And so I presented on the fact that like, I'm really struggling. How do I do what my dad does without having the technical expertise? And they gave me, and to me, this was a really pivotal moment in my career and in my journey in construction is they gave me advice that was like, you don't need to be your dad, Kelly. Like you come with different experience, totally different experience. You come from corporate America, you come with a different perspective. Yes, I have an engineering degree with maybe the fundamentals, hadn't practiced that, so it's a little bit rusty. And so they said, just lead the business like you think it should, like you would if you were in a different industry. What would you do? How would you lead this company without trying to be your dad?
Right.
And so that gave me kind of a whole new perspective and confidence. And it was like a light bulb went off and kind of just switched. And
Love
so
it.
I think, that would be my advice for women is just to lean into what your strengths are and follow your gut and be confident about what you're doing. And don't be afraid to speak up or try something different or offer an opinion. I'm sure you can relate to all of that.
Yep.
And sometimes it just takes a little bit to find that comfort zone.
Right.
Everybody struggles from imposter syndrome. And
yeah. I think that's a perfect spot to end us. I appreciate you coming on the show today.
Yes, thank you for having me.